if you're making the mistake thinking that your brand is going to change and grow properly just because it's your brand, it happens sometimes, but I think it's more rare than common.
You're listening to 15M Mastering, a show that empowers you with insights from the leading iGaming experts to enhance your personal or business performance. The show is brought to you by tech-driven affiliate and media company Already Media, and supported by the AI-powered data analytics platform Blask. And Yo Investments, a fund manager investing in outstanding people who are disrupting the iGaming, fintech, and crypto industries. Hey everyone, and welcome to 15M Mastery. Today we're joined by Reid Rooney, CEO and co-founder of Betsperts Media Technology Group. Reid is an expert at building and scaling portfolios of digital brands across betting, fantasy, and sports media. In this episode, we explore how to grow through smart acquisitions in today's fragmented market. Welcome, Reid.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the intro.
I absolutely loved our previous conversation, so I really want to dive in deeper into your knowledge and especially the story about your company. So let's start with the first question. So what signs tell you a brand is worth acquiring beyond looking just at the revenue?
Yeah, I think this is a great question. And one of the things that we've done 5 acquisitions in a short period of time. One of the things that we've learned along the way is how does the brand fit at your business is something that's very important. And what can you add to that business and that brand? Once you start to bring in 5 or 6 different companies at the same, close to the same time, you have to make sure that the whole model fits together. They're not competing against each other. The brands are too different, and that you can be additive to it, whether that is through cost savings or increasing sales or adding some professionalism to the monetization strategy and such. But if the brand isn't adding to you and your environment and community and revenue and diversity of all of that, it's not necessarily worth looking at. But you also have to add to that brand and that business as well. So revenue is great and wonderful to add, but I think there's a lot more that goes into it besides just revenue. And especially now, profitability is almost more important than revenue, if not more important.
I remember I read a book by Intel's CEO back then, and then he mentioned that they've canceled one of their acquisitions because of the cultural mismatch. So is this something you guys would consider, like when you feel like, okay, this is a great business, but culturally we're like, a very bold, fast moving kind of a company, and whether you think it's a very important piece of the puzzle before buying the company?
Yeah, the cultural aspect has gotten more important the more we have done. Because we were a 3 or 4 person company, the first acquisition we made, our culture was still to be defined at that point. And as we have added more and more, the businesses that we have typically acquired have been sub $5 million revenue businesses. And some of them, I would say, in the most endearing way or the respectful way, would be their lifestyle businesses. And we thought with some of the venture capital behind us and aggressive growth plans that we had, we could add to it. So while respecting what the business has been built on and how it has been built on and how the customers see that business and why they're loyal to it is important for that to mesh with your culture. But we have defined some of our culture and philosophy based on those acquisitions and what we've learned from them. So if at this point, now that we've established some of that, and I really like how we run and the people that are in our company and the businesses that have come in, we might put more emphasis on a fit or something that can be incremental to our culture and teach us and grow our culture as well.
I love it. So what is the most common mistake companies make when they try to grow through acquisitions?
I've thought about this before, trying to not make our mistakes that way. And I think wrong timing is something that's important, trying to force feed something that might not fit down the road, but fits right now, trying to get to a bonus or a revenue number that might not be sustainable where the market is heading towards. I think there's been some acquisitions that have gone poorly. I think back to even some media groups trying to get into operator sides of the business in the States and such, and just not accurately projecting what the markets will look like and what the costs will be down the road in that capacity. For us, the common mistake that I think that we made early on was belief of ability to scale at a huge level right away, right? I think you have to learn very much from the business over a period of time, and you're able to then add your professionalism or add your strategy or your growth metrics or pull in from your other acquisitions and other properties. I don't think you can flip a switch day one and you're going to see that profitability grow or that revenue grow. The brand has to, in a lot of cases, teach you what to do, but then you can do it with your ideas, your speed, and your capital behind it.
So let's say, after the acquisition, what will help you to keep the momentum strong while teams adjust and settle? And because it feels like this post-acquisition period is so tough and volatile in so many organizations, like a lot of people, slipping away, the business might be fragmented. So how do you actually keep that momentum strong?
And for the businesses that we've acquired, and for those who might not know, most of them are in the media space or have an audience already or a subscription-based business. And I think what is very important for us is making sure that we add to that subscription-based business or our readers or our Discord users. We give them an immediate benefit for the acquisition. So we want to make sure that they are on the parent company's support side as well, not just the brand that they've been supporting. So a lot of companies come and make an acquisition, change a lot of things right away. For us, the only change that we want to make right away most of the time is giving those users something to become more loyal or loyal to another property or stay loyal to the business that we bring in. So immediately, the first couple things that we pay attention to will clearly be costs and where there's some redundancies. But how do we make sure that in the eyes of our customers and our subscribers and our users and our readers, that we are bringing advantages and to their experience with the brands that we're bringing on board?
Okay, so this is the way how you keep it kind of and try to not to lose the momentum. But how do you actually grow a newly acquired brand without losing its original community? Because, sometimes many people, especially, the loyalists, which are, in the community since the very beginning, they become paranoid about the fact that sometimes, the new management might shift the organization, the brand, its values, its product offering, etc. So how do you actually, grow the brand without losing its OGs?
So there's an immediate connection that you have to make with those OGs, because the OGs, similar to the owners of the business, especially in kind of a lifestyle business range sub 5 million, I think they feel like it's their baby. They have some ownership of the brand because of the sweat equity that they put in as a customer, right? And for us, that it's very important to connect to some of the power users or the long-time users of the platform. Make sure that if there was original pricing that they have been grandfathered in on, that they stay on that, or that they feel like they are part of that process, because usually the OGs are the loudest voices and the most comfortable, and people tend to follow that kind of support for us. I think the larger property that you bring on, the harder that becomes, because there's voices pretty much everywhere. But from our side, one of the key parts of any acquisition is a retained community. And the nucleus of the business has to have a community, because I think continuously Google or TikTok or ChatGPT is going to be harder for people to search and find you out and leave platform. So if there's a community where people are intentionally coming to you daily, that matters to us. And when you, when you have that traffic, making sure you identify how you can appease and convert their support to not only your one brand, but your other brands. That, I think, is the best way for organic growth. And then after you've established kind of the loyalty and the lack of changes and switching everything up, I think then you're able to put some capital marketing strategies and pricing strategies and more technology on the platform to introduce the real growth for the business.
Would you compromise your, let's say, product or brand strategy of a particular asset you acquired in case when, this loyalist and the original community, will be voting against it? Like, for example, you wanted to roll out a few brands into one, and then you realize that, okay, we will lose the original community. Will you be able to revisit the strategy, or you just, keep the wheel and just go forward no matter what?
I think it depends on the situation and what type of customer it is, and where the upside of the business is as well. I will tell you, I try to interact on every platform with some of the harshest users, and I try to do that with full transparency. Perfect example is we bought Fantasy Life app from Matthew Berry, the OG of fantasy football, the 250,000 members on a social media app. And as we have progressed over 4 years, it is now called Bleacher Nation Fantasy. And we've added some more betting to the platform as well. We're adding a DFS game. Some users are against that because they just want the social side of it. Think about Reddit and if they made a change, how annoyed the users are, right? So anytime we make a change or something is coming, in full transparency, explain why, how, what the benefit is for the business, and what the benefit will be for the users that like that. For the users that want kind of the OG and just to stay, I have to explain that the business model might not be sustainable to continue on and have the platform unless we make these changes. So for my strategy to deal with some of the harshness of feedback is full and honest transparency, replying to those users, understanding that, hey, this is a business. It is, we're honoring everything that you've built and been part of, but we need to grow. We need to be sustainable. Here is how we are going to make money so we can put it back into the platform and continue to scale the community.
Yeah, absolutely love it. So our industry have seen a lot of media acquisitions in the past, and there were a few particular big groups, buying a lot of assets. And sometimes, these media roll-ups, they struggle to create a long-term success. Do you think there is a particular reason why?
Oh, there's good. That's a tricky one. I think there's been some reasons out of control and in control. I think some laws going into place in South America sometimes impact some acquisitions. I think lack of competitive operators in the States because it costs too much can cause some of that, and it's tough to predict at times. I think some of the things that were controllable and when it didn't work out was misunderstanding the brand that you own or the brand that you have and how consumers see those brands. And if you are overinflating the impact that your brand can have while making changes, I think there's been some operational issues that have gone into place there. As well as I think there's some people that have rolled up very, very, very similar companies that get traffic or get revenue in the same way at the same time, or depending on the same things. So for us, what we try to do is diversify time of traffic, year or part of the year of traffic, types of revenue, and make sure that we have something for every sort of sports fan. But if you're making the mistake thinking that your brand is going to change and grow a property just because it's your brand, it happens sometimes, but I think it's more rare than common. And I think that was when it was kind of the gold rush 4 years ago that kind of was a big problem that might not have been considered in some of the roll-ups. But I think as we've got to profitability and EBITDA, that has changed a bit.
Do you think the localization strategy might work with roll-ups like this? Like, for example, you mentioned like Latin America websites. So let's say you acquired someone in Europe. Do you think it's worth localizing the asset like that? Or it's just, much better to keep it like as the local champion, let's say in the same like European part of the world?
Yeah, I think the localization of, if I'm understanding correctly, the localization of the asset, I think is very, very important. I think one of the things that I worked with a bunch of European groups on, because we're based almost exclusively in America, is not understanding the American audience, not understanding why we buy so many subscriptions, not understanding why you do 10-team parlays for a lottery ticket, right? That isn't as common elsewhere. Without kind of that local team, that local knowledge and history around it, that can fail pretty quickly. For me, I would love to make some acquisitions in the European market. I understand soccer. Yes, I understand still football. I understand the soccer side of the business well, but I don't understand the rest. And so I would lean on kind of that local team and understanding through them what the customer journey is, what they're looking for. And really, you have to bring on the right people in that acquisition to teach you, or else it's going to be an expensive and timely learning process.
Thanks, Reid. I really like what you just said and shared with us, and I appreciate you taking the time to share some of the excellent insights with the audience. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm looking forward to our next conversation.
Thanks for having me.